Hello, good day Professor and my dear friends. My name is THIVEYA DHASHIRNY daughter of SIVAKUMAR and my matric number is 272470. Today I'm going to explain the lesson of theory and framework that I use in my case. So let's get started with the theory. I have used fraud triangle theory and SWOT analysis for my case. So now I'm going to talk about fraud triangle theory. It consists of three main elements, which is pressure, opportunity and racialization. Okay, what is fraud triangle theory? Fraud triangle theory provides a model to identify factors that causes fraudster to commit fraud, and even fraud triangle help us to better understand any fraud. So why fraud triangle is important is because it helps an organization to determine the motive behind an individual decision to commit fraud, as well as the opportunities that enables him to protect the thief. Next, let us look on the elements in fraud triangle theory, which consists of pressure, opportunity and racialization. Now let us look on the first element, which is pressure. The pressure is the motivation behind fraud committing, and that can be either personal financial pressure or pressure from superior. Both of the pressure can give the motivation for committing the fraud. So the next element is opportunity. So the opportunity is referred to the circumstance that allowed fraud to occur. So in the fraud triangle, it is only component that company exercise completely over control. So the person who plans to commit the fraud undercover an internal control weakness and does not believe anyone will notice. So the third element is racialization. So in this stage, the fraudster required to justify fraud in an acceptable way. So most of the fraud committers do not see themselves as a criminal. Instead, they explain the situation of committing the fraud. Benefits and limitations of fraud triangle. So the first benefit is it can prevent from fraud. Second, able to analyze the fraud. Third, better focus can be exercised on the area of detection. So there are one limitation for the fraud triangle, which is inadequate for deterring and preventing and detecting fraud, because pressure and racialization cannot be observed and do not adequately explain in every occurrence of the fraud. Okay, now let us look on how will fraud triangle theory will help KINGJEWELS. KINGJEWELS able to determine the motive behind an individual decision to commit fraud, as well as the opportunities that enable him to do so. So this will help the organization to prevent the fraud in the future. To prevent the fraud, there must be a strong internal control, zero tolerance and a proper code of ethics which motivates the employee to be ethical. To prevent and detect the fraud, there must be a surprise checks and audit, and management audit are also encouraged, and there must be a strong fraud defendant policy so that no employee can think of committing the fraud. I hope this fraud triangle theory will help KINGJEWELS to identify the fraud. Okay, now let us look into the second analysis, which is SWOT analysis. Now, let us look into the SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis is a framework to analyze the strategic planning technique for identifying the strength, weakness, opportunities and threats in the organization. So why SWOT analysis is very important? This is because it enables you to build your strength, address your weakness, reduce the risk and maximize the chances of success in the organization. Now let us look on the elements in SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis consists of four elements, which is strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. Now let us look into the elements of SWOT analysis, which is consists of strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. So strength and weakness are under internal factor. So what is internal factor? Internal factor is what occurs within the company, serve as a great sources of information for strength and weakness category of the SWOT analysis. For example, internal factors include financial and human resource, tangible and intangible assets, and operational efficiency. So next, what is strength? So strength describes what an organization excel at and what separate it from the competition. So there are a few questions under strength. So the first one is, what is our competitive advantage? Second, what other resources do we have? Third, what are the products are performing well? Fourth, what are the valuable assets do we have? So next we will look into the weakness. Okay, weakness is a stop an organization from performing and its optimum level. So the related question for weakness is, where can we improve? What are the underperforming product? What are we lacking resources? What could we do better? Okay, now let us look on the second part, which is external factor. So what is external factor? External factor is what happened outside of the company is equal as important to the success of the company as the internal factor, as I mentioned before. So the external influence are such as monetary policy, market changes and access to the supplier are categorized to pull from to create its list to opportunities and weakness. So under external factor we have two elements, which is opportunities and threats. So what is opportunities? Opportunities is referred to the favorable external factor that could give an organization a competitive advantage. So there are few key questions. So the first one is, what technology can we use to improve the operation? Second, can we expand our core operation? Third, what new market segment can we explore? Fourth, are the merging trends on which we can capitalize. So the next element is threats. So threat can be referred to the factor that have been potential to harm an organization, and the external factor could be jeopardize the entity success. So there are a few key questions. So the first one is, are weaknesses likely to make us critically vulnerable? Second, what external roadblocks exist that block our progress? Third, are economic conditions affecting our financial viability? So that's all for elements. Okay, now let us look on the benefits and limitation of SWOT analysis. So the first benefit is, by conducting a SWOT analysis, it has a little cost or no cost. The second one, anyone who can understand your business can perform a SWOT analysis. Third, you can also use SWOT analysis when you don't have much time to address a complex situation. The last benefit is, it can develop your business goal and strategy for achievement them. And there are one limitation for this SWOT analysis, which is it does not prioritize the issue and does not provide a solution or offer an alternative decision. Next, let us look on how will SWOT analysis will help KINGJEWELS. So KINGJEWELS is able to analyze its strength, weakness, opportunity and threats before implement a proper internal control, which has been a root causes for the problem that been occur. So from this analysis, the organization be able to make a proper decision making in internal control process of the company. So that's all from me, and thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed the session.